Apple is trying to pull a fast one on us right before WWDC. While everyone is completely distracted by the upcoming iOS 26 release and whatever AI Magic Cupertino is cooking up for the iPhone, they just quietly rolled out tvOS 26.6 Developer Beta 1. Honestly, looking at what they actually changed under the hood, I'm convinced this isn't just a software patch. This is a massive neon sign pointing directly at the next generation of Apple TV hardware. We are talking about fundamental UI shifts, the complete assassination of legacy apps, and privacy overhauls that perfectly line up with the latest supply chain whispers. Your living room setup is about to change permanently, so let's break down exactly what Apple is hiding in this new firmware. Before we look at the software, we have to talk about why these specific changes are happening right now. If you follow the supply chain reports, you know things are heating up fast. Mark Gurman recently hinted that Apple's home hub strategy is getting a massive reboot, and Ming-Chi has been dropping notes about a completely redesigned Apple TV box coming later this year. But the real smoking gun comes from a recent report out of DG Times. They noted a sudden spike in component orders for home entertainment systems, specifically tying into TSMC 3nm yields. Now, why on earth would an Apple TV need a 3nm chip? You absolutely do not need that kind of raw silicon power just to stream Netflix or watch YouTube. You need it for heavy, on-device Apple Intelligence processing and aggressive AAA gaming without any thermal throttling. So when I installed the tvOS 26.6 Beta 1 today, I was aggressively hunting for the software foundation for this new super-powered hardware, and Cupertino absolutely delivered. Right out of the gate, the entire update process has changed. There's a brand new splash screen greeting you the exact second your Apple TV boots up. Normally, Apple just assumes you know what changed or expects you to read the release notes on a tiny iPhone screen somewhere. But they finally built out a dedicated onboard changelog. And if you happen to miss it, say your kids grab the remote and instantly smash the continue button to watch cartoons, don't panic. You can navigate directly into your Apple TV settings, scroll all the way down to System, and tap the new What's New button. It instantly pulls that splash screen right back up. It sounds like a tiny tweak, but this kind of seamless integration is exactly what makes the Apple ecosystem so incredibly sticky. They're preparing the UI for massive feature drops where they want to make absolutely sure you know what you just paid for with that Apple tax. Now, let's talk about the graveyard. If you look at your home screen after updating to 26.6, you might have a minor panic attack because the legacy iTunes Movies app and the standalone TV shows app are completely gone. Poof. Eradicated. Apple finally pulled the plug. I'll believe it when I see it stick to the final public release, but it makes total sense for their current business model. They are aggressively forcing everything into the centralized Apple TV app. All your old purchases, your family sharing profiles, and your entire digital library have been quietly relocated to the Library tab inside the main Apple TV application. Sure, it cleans up the home screen and removes redundant icons, but it also forces you to stare at their premium subscription banners every time you just want to watch a movie you already own. Are you guys actually okay with Apple killing off the standalone iTunes apps? Or do you hate having everything jammed into one giant storefront? Drop a comment below right now because I'm seriously torn on this move. Did it try to sweeten the deal, though? If you scroll down on the Home tab, you will finally see the Genius Browse section. Apple actually tried to implement this back in tvOS 26.5, but for a massive chunk of users, it was completely bugged and just refused to populate. Beta 1 finally fixes this broken algorithm. It acts a lot like the modern recommendation engines on Netflix or Hulu, sorting content into unified, family-friendly categories. The real advantage here is that it aggregates all your connected services seamlessly. I've got Paramount, Max, Prime, and a bunch of free platforms all feeding directly into this one row. I'm not even currently paying for Apple TV Plus right now, though I'll probably resubscribe later when the NEW shows drop. It's simply a much smarter way to surf your subscriptions without bouncing between 5 different apps. Moving on to the aesthetics, the screensaver engine got a surprisingly heavy upgrade. We all know Apple takes their idle screens way too seriously, but the portrait liquid glass mode is stunning now. The liquid glass animation has been significantly enhanced with a much more aggressive, noticeable glass fade effect that ripples dynamically between your iCloud photos. The time display also got a visual overhaul. It is much more subtle now, adopting the clean, unified typography we see on the iPhone standby mode. Speaking of displays, Ross Young over at Display Supply Chain Consultants recently pointed out that Apple is heavily investing in new OLED panels for upcoming portable smart home displays. The LEC backed this up just last week, suggesting Apple is actively sourcing cheaper OLEDs for home hub use. This upgraded liquid glass animation, which heavily relies on Apple Intelligence to crop and select the most photogenic images from your cloud, feels completely custom-built for an upcoming OLED smart display. It just pops too perfectly on screen. And for those of you rocking older Apple TV hardware, the daily driver is getting some serious stability improvements. The aerial screensaver library has been notoriously glitched for months on older models. You couldn't properly manage or hide specific locations. Beta 1 finally patches this annoying bug. You can now manually disable the cross-eye icon and actually dictate exactly which high-res wallpapers show up in your living room. Apple also secretly injected contextual tips directly into the control center. When you swap profiles, a little notification slides in reminding you that you can long press the TV icon on the remote to quickly jump between accounts. Even better, when you back out to the home screen, it'll occasionally remind you that holding the power button will instantly kill your entire entertainment center, shutting down your projector, sound system, and TV over HDMI CEC. According to Macatakura, the next-generation Siri remote might completely ditch the aluminum chassis, and Shrimp Apple Pro has been loudly claiming that a Find My chip is finally being embedded. These new software pop-ups feel like Apple explicitly training users on remote shortcuts before introducing a completely revamped controller layout. Finally, check the top of the control center. Apple officially brought the iPhone's aggressive privacy indicator to the big screen. You'll now see a bright warning if any app is actively tapping into your location data or monitoring your microphone. We knew this was coming. If Apple is about to drop a massive Siri upgrade powered by local large language models at WWDC, they need absolute transparency about when your living room is actively listening to you. It's the ultimate setup for an AI-heavy keynote. So, if you're on the developer track, 26.6 is a remarkably solid install, and the public beta should be rolling out in the next 24 hours.